Hey, what's up, everybody? Um, Close to the end of another day. Time to take a ride. And today I think we're going to cover risky business, taking risk. People like taking risks. I find a lot of people do not like taking risks. And, why is that? So, here we go. Let's get to it. So, I just had a discussion. It was about taking risks versus playing it safe. And, I think a lot of people aren't as successful, and that's a whole other topic in itself, success versus failure, simply because they aren't willing to take risk. And so their mind aligns to playing it safe. And, when your mind is aligned to play it safe, you go through these discussions in your head. Well, I could go after that job that I've always wanted. I could go out and get, something as simple as I could go get that car that I've always wanted. I could go up to that person at the bar and talk to them, or I could not. And I know in a lot of people's minds, they end up talking themselves down. And so you kind of have to wonder why that is. How did we get that way? I don't know. That one I'm kind of curious about. When in our progression, and I'm sure it's a little bit different for everybody, but when in our progression did we kind of switch from, exploring and looking at the world from kind of like a child's eyes to looking at it from a, hey, don't do that, you'll get hurt, or don't do that, you shouldn't do that, it'll turn out bad. I guess my modern self says, will it really? Will it really turn out bad? A bunch of us just took a big risk and helped the guy out. And I know I brought it up before, but it's a good story, Undercover Billionaire. We didn't know going into it what we were getting into. And, it was a great story. It was a fun time. It still has longer range impact in a lot of our lives and not. And we took a risk. If you're with somebody, dating someone, married to somebody, at some point you took a risk and it worked out. You probably took that same risk a ton of different times and it didn't work out. Maybe you did, or maybe you're one of those lucky ones that, you took the risk once and it worked out. I say, if that's you, good job. Taking risks, though, then we kind of have this pattern take a risk, it works out. Play it safe. Think about taking risks. What I've found out, and maybe I knew all along, I'm just really realizing it, putting it all together right now. When things don't go your way, you just kind of figure it out. Think about, I know I've said this on maybe a podcast, could be a podcast. We figure stuff out. There have been tons of times, and think about it as simple as like an online game, right? And in an online game, your puzzle game, you didn't beat the level, you didn't get discouraged. In most cases, you just started over again. So, I mean, you think about it that way. You've hit adversity many, many times, and I know, right? Well, playing a game doesn't carry so much weight. Well, sometimes you get hurt. The way I've seen that is little kids will like want to learn to ride a bike, and they'll fall down, and yeah, they get hurt. Except they really want to ride that bike, and so they keep going and they keep driving, and eventually, this guy gonna try to, yep. We'll let him go by. Did I have enough left? Yeah, I had plenty left. So, anyway, kids riding bikes, they fall down. Even dating, you get hurt. Everybody knows it. When you go through it the first time, right? Probably hurts really bad. A little too far back in my memory that I don't really remember it. But you keep going, and you learn from it. I think one of the things that we can be better about is understanding that we can learn and grow from those mistakes. And I know that's easy to say. Really, I think part of that trick is just getting in the mindset. And sometimes, that means having people there to guide you. If you're lucky enough, they can help you along and maybe save you some time and some aggravation. Or there are some of us that will just figure it out on our own, and I think that's okay too. There's no real right recipe to life, right? We all have millions of choices that we could make. They're ours to make. Some will work out, some won't work out. I think part of it is just enjoying it all. Learning to enjoy it all instead of living in the mindset things are going wrong. Guess what? I don't really know anybody who lives a life where stuff doesn't go wrong. Even people that live really good lives, from my vantage point, stuff goes wrong all the time. I heard it once this way. Life there's always going to be problems. You're always going to have them. No matter who you are, where you are, what strata you are, always going to have problems. Just seek to have better problems. Interesting way of putting it, right? Seek to have better problems? I get it, though. You're always going to have problems. If you watch some of my other videos, part of my problem is hitting the sensor on these stoplights so I don't sit here. Maybe this car coming up will trigger it for me. Yeah? No? No? No. So, have better problems. Have better problems. You're always going to have them. I don't really think risk is necessarily something you should be afraid of. I'm also not going to tell you, get out there and take all the risk you can. I think it's more of, instead of seeing it as taking a risk, maybe being open to opportunity, right? Man, I missed the cycle again. Maybe I should. They make these things for under your bike that increase the footprint. So when you are over these sensors, your bike looks a lot bigger. Sensors think it's a car. What is this? We really missed. That's like the third cycle. Oh, I need this. Come on, car. Come up a little bit. Drive over that sensor. No? Just gonna sit here? Maybe we're just gonna sit here. Anyway. I don't know. There's a work situation that I've been through recently where, I was kind of just thrown into a project. Very short run time, kind of figure it out on the fly. It did feel for a minute like I didn't know how it was going to turn out. And I just kept going, I actually didn't have to take the assignment. I had the option to say no. And I ended up saying yes. And from my point of view, I believe it's worked out. Got things working, got things going, met some really cool new people, made some new connections, and for me it was kind of a really cool experiment where I've always said, yeah, I could rebuild some of the things that I've built before, and after enough time passes, I at least wonder, can I really do it? Or am I too out of practice and I just think I can do it? So it was a nice experiment for me to see, is what I was talking about, building teams, building groups, getting people to work together, getting organized. It was nice to see that what I knew to be true all along could be recreated without all the major advantages that I would have had in the past. And, it was a big risk. Didn't know how it was going to turn out. I talked about expectation on the last episode, and there's a little bit of luck, can't deny that. There's a lot of stuff that I didn't control that worked out in my favor. And so, for as much skill as there could have been, there were certainly some things that fell into place. I lucked out. As I discovered, it made it less risky. So, think about what you're missing out on, and whenever you think you have that good idea or something you should pursue, and you say, well, what if I've always wanted to, or I should do this, I should do that, and you find yourself talking yourself out of it, I say just take the risk. If you want to start small, start small. Do something that seems a little bit risky, and then work your way up. I think you'll surprise yourself. But that's it. That's it for tonight. Until next time, guys. This is Cowboy Mike. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you found this ride home with me enjoyable. I'll catch you later. Bye now.